Hello everyone! The 28th episode got released a few hours ago, and oh my goodness, it was even more insane than the previous episode. I considered the last action sequences to be just crazy, but what I saw today crossed even my most brave expectations. What kind of insane twists and plot turns are we going to see in today's episode? What did Siren steal from Titan Clockman, and what consequences it's about to lead to? Is the Plague Doctor's puppet back? And most importantly, are the Alliance and Speakermen going to unite soon? And I am going to break the whole episode down for you, and if you're really ready, then put all your business aside for the next 11 minutes, and trust me. In this video, I analyzed the new episode for you guys and found all the interesting details and Easter eggs that you could have missed on your own. So get your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch this video to the end, because I saved the best part for later, just as always. Let's go! But before I'll start digging into episode 28, let me remind you real quick about the events of the previous episode so you won't get too confused about what has actually been going on. The episode started with the POV finding the precious blue flash drive in TV Man's pocket, but then suddenly a speakerman takes it from his hands and other speakermen equipped with avatar-like robotic suits show up and attack G-Man, which leads to a battle where G-Man is restrained. Titan Clockman is also here to help, but he is weakened from a previous encounter. As the fight intensifies, more powerful speakerman machinery arrives. Plungerman joins the fight to assist Clockman, so they manage to disable the machines and free G-Man's hands. Despite their efforts, Titan Clockman gets eventually overpowered. The POV spots the blue flash drive, but it gets blocked by the new Speakerman Titan, whose name is Titan Siren, which engages in a fierce battle with G-Man. Siren Titan is made on the basis of Genesis Core and proves to be a formidable opponent, who is using a green energy shield and machine gun-like missiles. G-Man and Siren Titan's cores clash in an epic duel. And just as G-Man seems to gain the upper hand, his Hephaestus core begins to consume his own life, leaving him in a terrible state of panic. Okay, so now when your memory is refreshed and you're all set and ready, episode 28 is already on your screens. But before that, let me remind you to subscribe to my channel, because statistics tell me that only 28% of people who are watching my videos are subscribed to my channel, while more than 70% are staying unsubscribed. So be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons not to miss my new cool analyses. Okay, so if you're subscribed now, let's continue. And before the actual episode, we see that Monster Up has actually added the inscription Skibidi Toilet by Boom, which was probably made to avoid any legal or copyright issues with the original Skibidi Toilet series. And it's a little pity that he didn't add his name and the name of his zombie series too, because that's what we're watching after all. And then the actual episode starts and we see G-Man once again, who's experiencing a terrible pain and panic while also realizing that the core is about to consume his whole body. One of his hands has already got sucked into X-18 core, so he quickly uses another one to try to rip off the X-18 core out of his body, but unfortunately he's not capable of doing so as his other hand gets consumed as well. But then Titan Cameraman also comes to help him and gets the core out of G-Man's body. But it came with its own price, of course, because as Titan Cameraman touched the Hephaestus core, his own body also started hurting, and we can see his right hand basically melting. And in this moment, we can also see a reference to one YouTuber, but unfortunately the poster with him is so small that I couldn't really distinguish who that is. So if you guys know who this reference refers to, please write about it in the comment section below so I could learn it. But let's move on now. Titan Cameraman is obviously in a really great pain, and we can see how he's trying to support his injured arm with his left hand, but unfortunately he doesn't have much time to take his breath and come back into shape, because after he looks to the side we can notice Titan Siren appearing on the screen again. And by the way, with such a camera angle, it's much easier for us to discern the word siren on his left shoulder this time, because in episode 27 this word was partially hidden. Two Titans are striking each other in a short melee fight, and in this tiny moment, you can notice how Titan Cameraman decides to pass soccer ball to another player and simply smashes Hephaestus core into Titan Siren's body. And of course, Siren didn't like that at all, because just look at this. The core starts corroding and damaging his whole body as well. And we can see literal sparks coming out of it. And also pay your attention to how Siren's left arm got also consumed by the enraged X-18 core in this moment, which meant that it must have been hungry for new energy for real. But Titan Siren was reacting far quicker than G-Man, so he actually managed to get this core out of his body pretty fast with his remained hand and throw Hephaestus core somewhere on the ground. In the meantime, Titan Cameraman decided to also remind the freak that he's still in the game, so he shoots a few blasts from his cannon, which Siren takes, but then he does a rapid movement towards Cameraman and throws him back once again while using his green sword. And this time, Titan Cameraman starts getting up on his feet immediately, in the contrast to what he did in episode 26, where I blamed him for being a coward and sentimental whack-a-lot. So props to this Chad for getting tougher and acting quicker in this episode. But he's still moving quite slowly, so in this moment, Siren starts walking rapidly towards Titan Clockman. We can see how Titan Clockman tries to raise up his hand and use his time-controlling ability once again to stop Siren, but he's apparently too weak to do that. And we can also see how his whole body is still trembling from being overworked in such a short period of time. So his efforts remain unnoticed by Titan Siren, who's quite busy in this moment, by the way. But what is he doing exactly? Let me explain to you in details. So, at first sight, it looks like he was extracting Titan Clockman's core, because let's be honest, that was a really popular thing to do in today's episode of Zombie Universe. But in fact, he did something different, and it looked to me that he was rather pulling Titan Clockman's time-controlling powers and claimed them to be his own, which now would mean that he's possessing Clockman's time stoppage ability, and the consequences of it could be pretty drastic. But how in the heck was he managed to do this in the first place? It looked to me that it was the continuation of his first special ability shown in episode 27, where he basically resisted Clockman's time stoppage with the power of his Genesis core. And I thought that it could have been that exact special ability that Monster Up spoilt to us in the comments to episode 27. So to be absolutely sure, I even contacted Monster Up and asked him whether my suspicions were right about this. And he shared some really important hint about it with me. So as it turned out, Siren was able to pull out the time-controlling powers out of Titan Clockman's body because his special mind-blowing ability is about copying the abilities of any other characters that he's touching. And the only exception is those characters that are using different cores themselves. And of course, this special ability reminded me a lot of the character called Counter Titan, who appeared in episode 29 of Dom Studios' Skibidi multiverse. His special ability also allowed him to mimic the weapons and skills of his opponents and to turn their own powers against them. And Counter Titan was also created artificially by the Alpha, while Siren Titan was also made as a replacement for Titan Speakerman, whose goal was to gather all 4 cores and defend the Speakerman's race from both the Alliance and Skibidi toilets. But the thing is that Counter Titan was actually easily stopped by the upgraded Titan Clockman's time-controlling abilities, while in this universe, Siren Titan is indifferent to them. But there must be some trick to stop him, right? Because otherwise Siren would be way too OP. So this is exactly what Monster Up told me. So as it turned out, the abilities that Siren steals from other characters don't last for eternity. And each stolen ability lasts a limited period of time within which Siren must use it to defeat or overpower his opponent. That's why when he steals Titan Clockman's powers, we can see a green dial on his right arm, which indicates how much time is left for Siren to use this stolen ability. And I must say this is really smart for Monster Up to do because it makes Siren's special skill pretty fair, although he's still an incredibly powerful opponent to deal with. Okay, so after Siren steals Clockman's powers, he uses them to restore his left hand that was consumed by the hungry Hephaestus core, and then the timer runs off. And right in this moment, Titan Cameraman decides to strike again, but this time it seems like out-blue-lensed Chad wanted to play smarter and not harder. So in the moment when Siren was preparing some really powerful blow, Titan Cameraman activated all the juice in his jetpack and sent Siren into a long and very entertaining flight. I bet this guy will have so much fun taking back in here. And now the camera changes its angle, and something completely different starts happening on your screen. The POV catches how one of Speakermen picks up the flash drive with the coordinates of the purple core and jumps on his airboard to flee the scene. And in this moment, we can also notice another poster, which is a reference to Thai YouTuber called Mima Guy, who's filming different reaction to Skibidi toilet videos. And about Hephaestus core, it's not really possible for anyone to pick this up right now, because in this case, Hephaestus would simply devour anyone who'd touch it, so the POV gets into the chase after the Speakerman who stole the flash drive. And by the way, in this moment, when the POV chases Speakerman midair, I noticed some blurry red figure partially hidden behind this mountain, and I even thought that I was crazy a little bit, because this figure reminded me a lot of the original Titan Speakerman, who is already infected with the zombie virus, so it's not possibly to see him here. So I asked Monster Up about this weird phenomenon, And he revealed to me that it's actually no other than the red version of Titan Drillman, and that he hinted towards his appearance for a really long time already. He also said that it's a completely different Drillman that has connections with the infected Titan Drillman, and that he is on nobody's side in this confrontation right now. He was taken into this world with force, so he has no desire to fight with anybody here, and that he may be considered to be some kind of anti-hero. So I am definitely eager to see more of this mysterious guy in the future episodes of Zombie Universe series. Okay, and now let's get back to the chase. The POV pulls out his iconic explosive plunger and throws it into the speakerman, which causes his airboard to explode. How lucky of him, though, that there was a whole freaking train underneath the speakerman landed on. And in this moment, we can see another reference to a Skibidi YouTuber, by the way. The POV gets on the train, and then we see one of the most iconic chasing sequences in the history of Zombie Skibidi Universe. And the train action scenes are literally my favorite in games and movies. So I bet that this exact scene could have been inspired by this scene from the game called Jedi: The Fallen Order. And while the POV was holding for his dear life, I saw something really extraordinary right in this shot. Did you guys see this clock of black mist that really looked like Voldemort in his mist form in this scene from the movie called Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1? And I'm pretty sure this was a direct reference to it. Only in Zombie Universe, it was no other than the Plague Doctor, who is the main villain in this series as well. But the POV was more busy while looking at this nice booty shot from Speakerman ahead of him, who managed to knock through the train's roof and fall inside. And the POV manages to get in there just seconds before the train enters the tunnel, because that's what always happens in action movies like that. And inside, the Speakerman was pretty much ready to fight Plungerman, but they both are getting distracted by some eerie growl coming from the side. And in this scene, we can notice yet another reference to a Skibidi YouTuber. And as we look to the side, we can see that the source of that noise was no other but the Black Mamba Drillman. And oh my god, I really wouldn't want to get locked with this guy in such an isolated and tiny room, especially considering the nightmarish abilities that he has. And in the moment of his arrival, I can hear some really creepy music, which indicates that the fight with this freak definitely won't be easy. And if we'll look at the POV's fists when he clenched them, we can notice how they are visibly shaking. But fortunately, he won't be fighting this Drillman in solo, because he and Speakerman actually concluded a temporary alliance against this common enemy. And oh hell, could this mean that we will see the reunion between the Alliance and Speakerman's race soon? That would be absolutely crazy. And on this inspiring note, today's episode ends. And that was all for today. And be sure to subscribe to my channel so you will not miss my new videos, and also to my Discord, where you can contact me directly and get lots of info for my subscribers only. And that was me, ISO Toilet. See ya!